Toronto, Dallas. How about this one? Leafs and Stars, maybe one of the best games of the night just because Dallas has gotten off to this great 2-0 start. They've looked awesome in doing so against Arizona and then against the aforementioned Winnipeg Jets. Dallas minus 120, home favorite here. The total opened at 6, and money's just poured in on this over. It's up to 6.5 now, and it's shaded to the over at minus 115 in pretty much every spot. Look, Toronto is I think Mike Babcock, and this is an interesting thing he said after the Chicago game. He says, I'm not going to restrain my guys, talking about his offense. He's not going to. He is looking at a situation where if I got to win a game 7-6 or 6-5 this year, I'm going to do it. You know, they're going to let the horses run wild because they've got that offensive weaponry. They've got that offensive firepower. You know, don't forget, though, that was Garrett Sparks in net, too, that night in terms of the goals that were allowed. I think he was a little shaky, and I've still got major question marks about Garrett Sparks being able to perform adequately as the backup for this team. Great at the AHL level. He's been a phenomenal AHL goalie, but he's never yet been able to have that really big-time performance in the NHL, the few starts he's had, and it continued in that game against Chicago. It will be, obviously, Freddie Anderson back in net tonight for the Leafs. Ben Bishop's been great. You know, I think Toronto, to me, is a dead nuts over team right now, but it may not be as easy for them against Ben Bishop. If he plays like anything like he's played in the first 2 games, he's been awesome for the Dallas Stars. He looks healthy. He looks confident in the net. And the Dallas Stars are a team that's in desperate need the last couple seasons of good goaltending. They have a chance to get that. I like some of these burgeoning young players, too, for the Dallas Stars. You got to admit, when you look at this team, you know, it used to be Ben, Sagan, Radulov, shut those guys down. Nobody else beats you. Spezza had a bad year last year, but now you got, you know, Radek Foxa showed some offensive flair toward the end of last year. Devin Shore is a guy that's already hit the score sheet this season, a depth forward that can chip in and make something happen. Their back end is better. I really like them getting ex-Leaf Connor Carrick because I think he didn't get a fair shot in Toronto. I think that's a decent pickup. I think he'll be good for this team. He's already showed he's been good here with Dallas. Miro Heiskanen, great talent here on this blue line for the Dallas Stars. They're very excited about him. We know Klingberg, a great offensive defenseman on that top pair. Esa Lindell, the shutdown guy on that pair. That's a nice little offensive, defensive, you know, blend of a top pair. You like to see that. One guy that can rush the puck, one guy that can take care of his own net. That's a good thing you like to see on the back end. So there's some good things to like about Dallas, and, of course, Bishop being healthy. So we'll see if Toronto's high-powered, prolific, dynamic offense with Marleau and Matthews and Tavares, who is Tavares with a hat trick, you know, on Sunday against Chicago. I think Austin Matthews has scored at least 1 goal in every game so far this season for Toronto. So it's just a ton of weapons. We'll see if Ben Bishop, who's been tremendous so far, can contain them. But for me, I've had it Toronto over the total every game. I was very upset to see this total move to 6.5 during the show, no less, because this is best bet territory for me. But going to go over 6.5 here, minus 115 with Toronto taking on Dallas. Hey, you know, the coach says, hey, we don't mind playing run and gun. We don't mind winning a 6-5, 7-6 game. Clearly, Toronto's not going to change their spots whatsoever. And again, with all due respect to Dallas's 2-0 start, Toronto's fine in the back of the net. Their power plays great. It's going to test this Dallas team a lot more here tonight. Let's go around the horn. I think there's mostly everybody on this panel has Leaf Stars, and we're running low on time. Let's go to Dana Lane, Toronto, Dallas. What do you like?
Yeah, real quick, this is interesting because the Toronto Maple Leafs are basically what the Dallas Stars were a few years ago. A ton of offense and very questionable defensively. Right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are a perfect over team. I mean, you know you're going to get goals from them offensively, and they're giving up a ton of goals as well. And, you know, this is a team that, you know, record-wise is probably pretty happy where they are, but, you know, essentially with 2 games in overtime, I mean, they could be 0-3 at this point. Tavares and Matthews have been as advertised. I don't think Nazem Kadri's been very good in, you know, defensively. I mean, obviously he's not a defenseman, but I just think that they're from a forward perspective, it looked to me like there was a lot of emphasis on playing offensive hockey and getting into transition. Not a lot of emphasis on playing defensive hockey and playing well in your own end. I don't think Connor Brown has been very good to start the season. From a Stars perspective, I mean, you mentioned all the guys that definitely have contributed, but you still have the Radulovs and the Jamie Benns and the Tyler Sagans. They both have 4 points apiece. I mean, this to me screams over. And in fact, dating back to last season, in the Leafs' last 30 games, the over is 28-2. The over is 19-7-2 after a Stars victory, meaning that they usually stay hot offensively after starting well offensively. So, to me, guys, I will be honest about this. If this card wasn't as short as it was, it might stay off just because it seemed too obvious. But this is definitely one I'll keep on my card. I don't love it at 6.5. I wanted it at 6, but it does scream over or nothing because I don't know how you can go under in a game like this.
All right, over 6.5. That's why I'm sticking with it 6.5 because, like my pal Jeff Nadu, big man on campus, says, I don't bet to push. I bet to win. Exactly. If I don't want this, okay, it's gone from 6 to 6.5. I still think we got 7+ goals in this game. I feel good about that. I still think it can get there. Let's go to Jimmy with Toronto and Dallas. Jimmy, what do you like?
Ride the over, folks. I'm right with you guys. I mean, it's I like what Dana said. It's almost like it's too good to be true, but it's true. You got to take this over in this game. Dallas has a very potent offense. I mean, we're sitting here, we're talking about the Leafs and their run and gun offense, and rightfully so. But let's not forget what's on the other side there. There's a lot of potential goal scoring coming from the likes of Jamie Benn or Raduloff, like you mentioned earlier, Tyler Seguin, and also some great offensive weapons in the back end there too. I feel for Ben Bishop and Frederik Andersen if he's the guy between the pipes for Toronto tonight. I wouldn't want to be a goalie in this game. I like the over a lot, and I'll also take the Leafs to get their second win in a row. Yeah,
and then Dallas, Jim Montgomery, I mean, it hasn't been like they had a low-scoring game against Arizona, 5-1 against – they're playing fast, up and down, up and down.
Guys,
that's the style they want.
He's going to be I predicted he's a Jack Adams Award winner, and I'm going to stand by that. And watch Dallas this year, guys. They're going to be fun to watch because I saw how Jim Montgomery used to coach in college and – the stuff he's done before. He loves to be creative. He loves to open things up. He's not going to let them be irresponsible in their own end, but he's a creative guy, and he's breathing some life into a franchise that I think had the talent waiting for that life to come along, and I think Montgomery's the answer. So they're going to be a fun team to watch this year.
Yeah, hoping for that perfect blend of offense and defense, which has eluded Dallas, and so far they found it in 2 games. Let's get to Andrew, Leafs and Stars. What do you like, Andrew?
Yeah, someone has to do it, guys, and I'm going to be the outside man here. It's kind of hearing Dana say, how could someone take the under? And I'm just sitting here like, okay. Someone has to do it, I guess. But
I've done that many times last year, Andrew. Don't worry about it. I hear
you. You did. But you know what? The reason is, guys, and I don't often do this, and, everything can't always be about patterns, and you can't always be about trying to break a pattern as well. But when I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs so far, I look at their opener against the Habs. I mean, I didn't like that game at all for the Leafs defensively whatsoever. I didn't like that game for consistency. I didn't think they looked strong. The talent level that they had was not displayed whatsoever. And then, of course, look at their Ottawa game, the Saturday Night Hockey Night in Canada game that killed one of my survivor pools pretty fast. And, a 5-3 loss is bad against this Ottawa team. But more importantly is how easy they got walked over. And, of course, we all know what happened against Chicago, the 7-6 victory. And I understand a lot of people, a lot of analysts, Mike Babcock saying the run and gun style, the high-paced games, and what this team's going to be about. And, the headlines that I'm seeing everywhere right now is that can this team sustain, their offense overpowering that weak defense, or, can this high goals forward, diminish their goals against? And I think that to be an elite team and move forwards, you got to show me that you can kind of at least cut that back for at least a couple games every now and then. I think this game will be one of those games. Freddie Andersen, let's not take any credit away from him. I mean, I think it would be very easy to do that right now, looking at the past couple games and what we've seen, guys. But I still think he's a great goaltender. I still think that he makes a lot of stellar clutch saves. He keeps the Leafs kind of poised and calm in a lot of opportunities where they're pushing the pace too much. So 2-on-1 breakaways end up coming back against them and on their side. And for Dallas, guys, they had that start against Arizona, who I know Ian's a little bit higher up on this year. They were minus 185 favorites, but they won 3-0, shut them out. And then, of course, against Winnipeg, a team that, like Jimmy said, is very, very high on this year. And they're going to be projected to go very, very far once again this year, and they beat them 5-1. So if there's nothing that they've proved us so far this year, is that Ben Bishop and that squad can shut teams down. And that's exactly what they've done. They've shut teams down and not only produced offensively, but they've shut teams down defensively. So when I see a 6.5, and we're looking at this, I'm looking at the SBR live page right here, the odds, and I got to think I could see, a 3-1 game here, a 4-2 game, and that's all I really need. So I got to hope for some, slow starts, some competitive neutral zone time, and some solid goaltending. But I'm going to look under the total in this one. Again, this Leafs team, I know they're going to score goals. They're going to put up high numbers. They're going to be a consistent over team. But we're seeing a 6.5 here, and I'm going to go under the total with the Leafs game.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.